Hello. This is HMS Junk, part of our scrap iron Armada, our mothball fleet, a sad and desolate hulk. But she wasn't always like this, of course. Once she was savage and proud, lean and shipshape and fierce. And even today, at her mournful mooring in Fareham Creek, she's haunted by past glory, by ghosts. And today, moored in the backwaters of royal dockyards like this one at Portsmouth, and in remote anchorages in basins and locks around the country, the Royal Navy has a mournful fleet of dead warships, which once cost us countless millions, and are today worth perhaps £4 million as scrap, ranging from £250,000 for a dead cruiser to, say, £15,000 for a frigate, like that one, F141, the Undine, which was only commissioned 7 years ago, and this one here, F23. And these are just a few of the surplus warships which have been marked disposal list sale or disposal list scrap. The Gambia, the Mauritius, and the Lagos are on the sale list here. But of course, you can't sell a lethal object like a warship to just anyone. They have to be friendly nations to start with. And then in this changing world, there are degrees of friendliness. So ships that are on the sales list to one foreign country may not be to another. So off to the knacker's yard with them. Even with this one, which cost us more than £6 million, and she's never sailed. This is HMS Leviathan, the Navy's 15,700-ton problem ship. She was launched just after the war in June 1945, rich in all that was latest and best in warship construction. Speed 25 knots, air-conditioned and insulated for tropical service. Sides not lagged, but sprayed with asbestos cement. And this is not, as you might think, a stretch of the M1. It's the Leviathan's flight deck, 694 feet of it. Construction work aboard stopped in May 1946 when, as you can see, she was structurally almost complete. She was towed here from the Tyne where she'd been built, and that was her only sea voyage. For the past 15 years, this £6 million worth of warship has lain here waiting to become a few £1,000s worth of scrap. It's not even easy to scrap this ghost fleet, for the merchants have got all the scrap they can handle, and a ship that's built to withstand shell fire is no pushover in the breaker's yard. Mr. Lewin, you're the head of the department here at the Admiralty concerned with the disposal of these ships. When do you give up hope that you can sell a ship, that you can market it, and decide it's only fit for scrap?
In some cases, ships, of course, have been run to death before we get rid of them, in which case, obviously, they're not worth attempting to sell to any other navy. In other cases, they're obsolete, and the equipment in them is obsolete. Therefore, again, they wouldn't attract anyone else. But there still are a number of types of ships which we know from experience a navy could use for, say, anti-submarine work or for training purposes, which we consider would be worthwhile keeping for that purpose.
Of course, the Royal Navy has been accused of a vacillating policy, of holding on to ships too long, of not selling them, and not even sending them for scrap, just keeping them at moorings.
Yes, I don't think that's true, because taking the ships which I believe you've seen recently, we have at the moment half the number that you would have seen if you'd visited last year.
I'm thinking, for example, of the Kenya. She was paid off in 58 or 59. Yes. She's been at anchor for years, getting older and older, rustier and rustier, worth less and less, I suppose, every day.
Kenya was held when she was first declared surplus, because we had inquiries from another navy for cruisers.
But how about your Leviathan? Work stopped on her in 1946,
Yes,
which is
Leviathan
16
is
years ago.
another very difficult one in this sense that the war ended before she was completed. Quite obviously, it's worth holding on to a ship which has been nearly finished anyway, to see if you have any further naval use for it, and that is what we did with her. We've held her quite some time now.
You've had her for 15 or 16 years, and
yes,
she's still there.
Yes. We did have various suggestions as to how she should be used during that period. One of them was, of course, as a commando carrier.
But that was turned down, I understand.
That's now been turned down.
So what is to happen to her?
She's now about to be scrapped, and she will be this year.
It's been suggested, of course, in the House of Commons that the Royal Navy is remote and not sufficiently commercially minded, that you have no competent and determined salesmen.
Well, of course, selling warships is not quite the same thing as selling vacuum cleaners. And carpetbagging from door to door doesn't sell you warships. People who want warships know pretty well what they want before they start. They come to you and ask you what you've got. But even if they didn't, we have naval attaches in practically every country which runs a navy who are kept posted regularly of the ships we have for disposal. And should they have any inquiries, or for that matter, wish to make any suggestions, they can, on the basis of the list of ships we know we have for sale.
Do you have an asking price, or are you just open to offers?
We have got a formula on which the price is determined, which is, as I said earlier, really based on the length of life we expect the ship to have.
How much do you want for the Leviathan?
Well, I couldn't tell you that.
So here they stand, forlorn. Today there are around 90 of these hearts of rust clanking at their mooring chains, landmarks to the locals, forgotten by the rest of us. Each one cost a fortune, each one was prepared to be our champion. There's something tragic about these impotent warriors, these shorn Hercules, waiting miserably for the graveyard. But rather than being unhappy about all these wasted millions, I suppose we ought to be thankful that there isn't any need today for this mothball fleet, and that many of these dying warships have never sailed in anger. And come to think of it, we shan't get much money back in scrap from a nuclear rocket, shall we? Good night.